Right then, let's have a proper chat about butter. For ages, it's been a staple in our kitchens, hasn't it? We spread it on our morning toast, melt it over fluffy jacket potatoes, and use it to make our cakes lovely and moist. It's one of those classic ingredients that just makes everything taste a bit more delicious, a bit more comforting. But for years, we've been told to be careful with it, that it might not be the best thing for our bodies. So what's the real story? Is this golden block of goodness a friend or a foe? Let's break it down and get to the bottom of it, nice and simple. So what exactly is butter? It's actually a very natural product, which is a great start. It's made by churning cream or milk until the fatty bits, the butter fat, separate from the liquid, which is called buttermilk. That's pretty much it. The main ingredient is milk fat, along with a bit of water and sometimes a pinch of salt to add flavor. Because it comes from milk, butter contains some important nutrients. It's packed with fat-soluble vitamins like A, E, D, and K. These are proper useful vitamins that our bodies need for things like good eyesight, healthy skin, and strong bones. It's not just empty calories, you see. Now the bit that gets everyone talking is the fat content. Butter is mostly fat, and a large chunk of that is saturated fat. For a long time, we were all told that saturated fat was the big baddie, the main cause of heart problems. This led many people to ditch the butter and look for alternatives. However, the science is always moving forward, and our understanding of fats has become a lot more nuanced and interesting. Some experts are now suggesting that the picture is a bit more complicated than we first thought. It's not as simple as saying all saturated fat is evil. Some top-notch scientists and nutrition experts have started to look at butter in a new light. They've pointed out that for certain people, like those managing diabetes or at risk of heart disease, swapping out butter for sugary jams or starchy white bread might actually be worse for their health. The key is what you're eating it with. A little bit of butter on some whole grain toast or steamed green veggies is a world away from slathering it on highly processed foods. The context of your entire meal and indeed your entire diet is what really matters. It's about making smart choices all around. Ah, the classic showdown, butter versus margarine. This debate has been raging for decades, with each one having its moment in the spotlight as the healthier choice. When people started to worry about the saturated fat in butter, margarine became the go-to alternative. It's made from vegetable oils, so it's lower in saturated fat and higher in unsaturated fats, which were seen as the good guys. For a while, it seemed like a clear win for margarine. It was the sensible, heart-healthy option you'd find in everyone's fridge. But, as we often find with food, the story is not that straightforward. The problem with many early margarines was that they contained something called trans fats. These were created during the process of turning liquid vegetable oil into a solid spread. We now know that these man-made trans fats are seriously bad news for our hearts, even worse than saturated fat. Thankfully, most food manufacturers have removed them from their products now, which is a massive step in the right direction. However, it's a good reminder that just because something is plant-based doesn't automatically make it a healthier choice. We need to look a bit deeper at how our food is made. Today, you can find a huge variety of spreads on the supermarket shelves, and many modern margarines are much better than their predecessors. They are often fortified with vitamins and made from healthier oils like olive or rapeseed oil. But it's important to remember that many of these spreads are what we call ultra-processed foods. This means they can contain a long list of ingredients, including emulsifiers, colorings, and artificial flavorings to make them look and taste like butter. When you compare that to butter's simple recipe of milk and salt, you can see why some people prefer to stick with the more natural option. So, which one should you choose? Honestly, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're trying to reduce your saturated fat intake, a good quality modern margarine made with healthy oils and no trans fats could be a decent option. But if you prefer to eat foods that are less processed and more natural, then butter is the clear winner. The most important thing is to read the labels. Check the ingredients list and the nutritional information to make an informed choice. Don't just grab the first tub you see, know what you're putting in your shopping basket. Now, let's get a bit more specific, because not all butter is created equal. You might have seen grass-fed butter in the shops, and it's usually a bit pricier. Is it worth the extra cash? Well, it just might be. Grass-fed butter comes from cows that have been munching on grass for most of their lives, just as nature intended. Regular butter, on the other hand, often comes from cows that are fed a diet of grains like corn and soy. This difference in diet has a real impact on the nutritional quality of the milk, and therefore the butter itself. The goodness starts with the color. Grass-fed butter often has a deeper, more golden yellow hue. That lovely color comes from a higher concentration of beta-carotene, an antioxidant that our bodies convert into vitamin A. But the benefits go further than that. Research shows that grass-fed butter has a much better nutritional profile. It contains a higher amount of heart-healthy omega-3 fatty acids, which are brilliant for reducing inflammation in the body. It also has more conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA, another type of fat that some studies suggest might have health benefits. It's a great example of how better farming can lead to better food. So we've established that a bit of butter, especially the grass-fed kind, can have a place in a healthy diet. But the big question is, how much is okay? We can't just go eating it by the spoonful. Like any food that is high in calories and fat, moderation is absolutely key. Most experts and nutritionists would agree that a sensible amount is somewhere around 1 to 2 tablespoons per day. This gives you enough to enjoy the lovely flavor and richness it brings to your food without going overboard on the fat and calories. It's about enjoyment, not excess. Think about how you use it. A small pat melted over your steamed asparagus, or a thin scraping on a slice of sourdough is a fantastic way to enjoy it. This recommended amount allows you to incorporate butter into your daily meals in a balanced way. It fits into a healthy eating plan as long as you are mindful of your total daily intake. It's not about banning it completely, but rather treating it as a delicious ingredient to be used thoughtfully. A little bit of what you fancy does you good, as the old saying goes, and that definitely applies here. At the end of the day, the most important lesson here is to look at the bigger picture. We can get so caught up in worrying about single ingredients, whether it's butter, sugar or salt, that we lose sight of what really matters. Your overall health isn't determined by whether you put butter or margarine on your toast this morning. It's determined by the sum of all your food choices and your lifestyle habits over weeks, months and years. It's about creating a healthy pattern that works for you in the long run. Focusing too much on one good or bad food can be a real distraction. Think of your diet like a beautiful, colorful mosaic. Each piece is a different food, and they all come together to create the final picture. A little pat of butter is just one tiny tile in that massive mosaic. What's far more important is that the rest of your plate is filled with wonderful, vibrant foods. Are you eating plenty of fresh vegetables and fruits? Are you including whole grains, lean proteins like fish and chicken, and healthy fats from sources like avocados, nuts, and olive oil? These are the things that make the biggest difference to your well-being. So please don't stress too much about butter. If you enjoy it, make room for it in a sensible way. Choose a good quality one, preferably grass-fed if you can, and use it in moderation. Savor the flavor it adds to your lovely home-cooked meals. Use it to pan-fry a piece of fish or to enrich a beautiful vegetable sauce. Food is meant to be enjoyed, and a little bit of butter can bring a lot of joy to your cooking and eating. It's about finding that happy, healthy balance that allows for both nourishment and pleasure. Ultimately, building a healthy lifestyle is a journey. It involves cooking more from scratch, moving your body regularly, getting enough sleep, and drinking plenty of water. When all of those positive habits are in place, the choice between butter and margarine becomes much less significant. So, cook with love, eat a rainbow of fresh ingredients, and enjoy your food. That's the real recipe for a happy, healthy life. It's all about balance, my friends. Proper, lovely balance.